Young Thug is a real demon. This the real story right here. This is what he said, you feel me? So we finna see what my boy Swamp Story just talking about, man. I mess with his content heavy. If y'all want to see the original video, y'all know I'm gonna put the link inside the description, you feel me? Cause sometimes motherfuckers don't want to hear me talking, they want to get straight to the video. You know? Well, who the fuck keep on, you feel me? This shit blowing the fuck out of me. Alright. Now we finna get into the video though. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to me. And check out Swamp Stories.
Welcome back to another episode of Swamp Stories. For this episode, we do something completely different. We fully cover the insane YSL indictment that just broke out. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. You can also follow the Instagram page as well. So let's get into it. Just a few days ago on March 9th, one of the largest takedowns in rap history hit the news. And honestly, many people were surprised. Number one, because, Young Thug used to wear dresses and calls his friends hubby. And also because Gunna is the furthest thing from a gangster. The only thing he's knocking down is 2 Big Macs and a large Sprite. But
damn, why he get on that with Gunna, man? I ain't gonna care. Everybody know why he getting on that with Gunna.
honestly, I was surprised for a whole different reason. Let me explain. Fulton County is known to be the softest on crime in the whole state of Georgia. Atlanta people will tell you that DeKalb, Cobb, Gwinnett, and Clayton County are all places you want to avoid doing crime.
Man, I thought Fulton County was giving niggas Rico charges like it's free candy. Am I missing something?
Those are old school judges and district attorneys that will prosecute you to the fullest extent. However, Fulton County, which covers the actual city of Atlanta, is the complete opposite. It's like the San Francisco of the South, where you're locked up one day and then all of a sudden you're let go with no reason. And that reputation has really started to upset the locals. In fact, Atlanta's wealthiest neighborhood, Buckhead, has been trying to become its own city for that exact reason. It's plain and simple. Residents are fed up about criminals being let out way too soon. And that leads me to one big conclusion. The district attorney is under huge pressure to change the image of crime in Atlanta. And honestly, I can't even blame her because at the end of the day, her career is on the line. So she decided to build one of the biggest and flashiest cases in Georgia history.
They know that they have a district attorney that is seriously prosecuting gangs and criminals, and that we are sending people to jail for life and not batting an eye about it.
First of all, what is a RICO? Well, it's actually a made-up charge that began in 1970. It all started when the government got fed up with guys like John Gotti. That's because for years, they could never actually prove that he did anything. So that's when they made the new law, allowing for people to be charged simply for being at the head of an organization that commits crimes.
I mean, I guess that shit is pretty smart because if you got money, you could commit lots of shit and you never got to touch anything. You could just have other motherfuckers do it and then you would just be able to get away with it. So I guess I understand why they made the Rico.
Some people feel differently about whether this should be legal or not, but either way, it is what it is and plenty of people get serious time for it. But before we get into the video, let me explain a big misconception that I've been seeing online. Everyone is saying that this is a federal RICO case and they have a 99% chance of being convicted. Wrong and wrong. This is a local state-led RICO indictment which is much less powerful. The state usually throws a ton of charges, many of which they can't prove. They do this so that you get scared and end up settling for a lesser charge. And secondly, in the state of Georgia, if this is taken to trial, all 12 jurors have to unanimously decide that they are guilty without a reasonable doubt. Now, let me point out the obvious. Atlanta is an extremely prideful.
So it's not a real Rico. I ain't gonna cap to you with with Young Thug money, and it's not been a real Rico, and it's a state Rico. City, whatever fuck state. Yeah, they probably Young Thug might get out.
City in multiple ways. Just kidding. But Young Thug and Gunna are Atlanta icons, and the chances of at least one of the jurors being a fan is very high. So that was me playing devil's advocate. But now let me break down everything that's happened. But before we get into it, let me run the intro.
That charge be hard.
It It all started in late 2012 when Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug, began making a name for himself in rap. And that's when he started a gang called YSL, also known as Young Stoner Life. They originate out of Cleveland Avenue, which is a street that is split.
I thought YSL, I ain't gonna cap to you. I thought YSL stood for Young Slime Life. I didn't know it stood for Young Stoner Life.
Between the south side of Atlanta through the city of East Point, Georgia. Cleveland Ave is known to be one of the most dangerous streets in Atlanta behind Campbellton Road and MLK Drive. The area used to be...
Of course, Martin Luther King gonna be bad. Martin Luther King bad in every motherfucking... If any state, city, if you got a Martin Luther King Drive, I'm pretty sure it's bad. Martin Luther King passed away for his name to be used as... for his name to be the worst streets ever, the baddest neighborhoods, the most violent neighborhoods. That's crazy. The nigga who wanted the peace got the streets with the most violent neighborhoods named after him.
Be made up of multiple public housing projects that were the poorest and most dangerous in the country. Well, that's where Young Thug was raised. However, all the projects were torn down before 2003. So many of the residents, including Young Thug, moved out to other areas. However, they still claim the area and hustle there as well. For a while now, the police have been calling the area gang infested, but that's not really true. Anyone from Atlanta will tell you that gang activity isn't exactly what it seems. Technically, there are gangs, but really, it's just groups of friends getting money and beefing with other groups of friends. However, the DA...
He said it's groups of friends just beefing with other groups of friends. Ain't that's what gang banging is with everybody? That's literally what it is. Groups of motherfucking friends getting into it with other groups of friends. If we send it in the the Caucasian way. That's basically what a gang is. Everywhere.
Claims that YSL is part of what they call the National Bloods Gang. Apparently, this is a gang that stretches from Compton to Seattle to Detroit, all the way down to Atlanta. This is definitely not true. I mean, they don't even speak the same language. And I'm really not even joking. Atlanta English is a totally different language than California English. Well, locally, the DA alleges that they associate with two gangs, SMM and 30 Deep. The only difference is that YSL is known to wear lime green rags and color coordinate with that as well. They're known to throw up L's and they say slat, meaning slime love all the time. This is a spin-off of Blat, which Bloods used to say blood love all the time. Well, YSL is not about love at all. Instead, this is what they do. YSL is involved in all kinds of street activities. Most importantly, they enhance their reputation, power, and territory through means of assault and threats of violence. Secondly, they earn money through armed robbery, theft, and distribution of all kinds of things. And lastly, when they get...
You already know trapping. Trapping is the number one way that you make money in the hood. Like, I ain't gonna capture you. If you ain't trapping, you ain't gonna get no power in the hood because you don't got no money. And the way to have money is by trapping.
Caught, they're known to intimidate witnesses. So let's get into all the events. It all started on January 25th, 2013. Let me introduce you to Young Thug's right-hand man named Trontavious Stevens, also known as Tig. This guy is a certified demon and he handles everything for Young Thug. Well, on the night of January 25th, he caught a rival named Reginald Pettis in the Summerhill neighborhood. Bam. Reginald ended up being okay, but this took a petty rivalry to a whole new level. And around this time, Summerhill began being represented by a rapper named YFN Lucci. And after this, the back and forth would begin. However, before anything else would take place, YSL needed some tools. So Young Thug's homies would hit the streets. On June 18, 2013, his friend Justin Cobb, also known as Doo-Wop, would run into a man named Rayonte Johnson. Doo-Wop noticed...
I ain't gonna count. When they got their full names, that mean they ass damn they got arrested or killed. Cause they ass don't be knowing sometimes they be knowing their real name if they famous.
Says that Rayonte has a blick in his possession, which for a normal human, that would be a sign not to try them. However, for YSL, all they see is a walking lick. So Doo-Wop walks up to him, snatches it, and runs away. Well, Dreyonte called it in to report it stolen. However, they would not find it until it was later used by YSL. Well, one tool was not enough, so Young Thug had YSL go get him another one. And they ended up finding one inside the house of Ann Phillips, a suburban Atlanta resident. Well, on August 23rd, Young Thug was pulled over and searched. And that's where they found it in his glove box. You might be thinking that this is enough blickies, but not for YSL. They need more. September 11th, 2013. YSL's Walter Williams, also known as DK, enters the property of Derek Dotson. And after struggling to get what he wants, DK gets impatient. He takes everything and quickly leaves the area. He then brings it back.
I ain't gonna cap to you. If you robbing someone, why shoot them? That's just a whole nother charge, bro. With a robbery, you feel me? It's still a little bit of time with an armed robbery, but not as bad as a murder.
Back to YSL. So after these reckless incidents, Atlanta PD started looking into YSL. The first thing they did is search the Instagram pages of all the members. And while Young Thug is blowing up with songs like Stoner and Thief in the Night, Atlanta PD is quietly building a huge case. And the main thing that caught their attention in the first place was DK's giant YSL tattoo on his forehead. He was a known menace in Atlanta, even before Young Thug was known, so this put YSL in a serious category. But still, none of this was enough to prosecute, so the madness would continue. The back and forth between YSL and YFN started getting really serious in 2015, and the first major incident occurred in January of 2015. January 7th, 2015. After a day of trying on skirts and getting his toenails painted, Young Thug goes to Hertz to rent a car, and he rents a 2014 Infiniti Q50. Now, objectively, this is a nice car to all of us regular humans, but a superstar rapper has no reason to get a car like that, especially in his own city. Well, Young Thug actually did have a reason, and he gave the car to his right-hand man Justin Cobb, also known as Doo-Wop. So then Doo-Wop plans to do something wicked with the car. He gets 4 fellow YSL members, Javaris Bradford, Diamante Kendrick, Demise McMullen, and Shannon Stillwell. Earlier, they were notified that YFN Lucci's right-hand man Donovan Thomas is in the Castleberry Hill neighborhood. For reference, this is located right down the street from the Falcons Stadium and all of the colleges. Well, Donovan is getting his hair cut.
I mean, Atlanta is pretty small. I ain't gonna capture you. They need to be smooth out there because they can get to motherfuckers kind of fast if it's not a whole bunch of traffic. Because you know Atlanta got lots of traffic.
When the 5 YSL men pull up, bam.
Damn.
Later that day, Young Thug returned the car to Hertz, clean as a whistle, or at least that's what he thought. However, the whole time he was being tracked and his phone was tapped.
I mean, shit, nigga, if you motherfucking renting a car for a murder in your name, you're most likely gonna get caught, my boy. I ain't gonna capture you. Like, you should have use someone else's name. I ain't gonna capture you. Like that shit, easy way to get caught.
As well. And on January 25th, he made a huge mistake. He called the leader of SMN, which is Atlanta's most notorious group, and he calls for them to join together. He said, sacrifices must be made. Soldiers must fall in order for the battle to be won. And that takes us to April 12th, 2015. The infamous Walter Murphy, also known as DK, is back at it again. He drives through the Summerhill neighborhood and finds 3 YFN affiliates, Dexter Montgomery, D'Angelo White, and Christian James, standing right there on the corner. Bam. Thankfully, he's Ben Simmons, and everyone was okay. Well, later that month,
Damn, he called his ass Ben Simmons. His ass can't shoot. His ass need to retire from the streets.
YSL temporarily put their local issues to the side. And that takes us to a blast from the past. In 2015, Lil Wayne and Birdman were not getting along. Lil Wayne claimed that he was owed tens of millions of dollars and Birdman never paid. Well, Young Thug signed with Birdman and oddly named his 2015 album The Carter 6. He was clearly mocking Lil Wayne's classic series of albums, but the beef wasn't really Young Thug's to deal with in the first place. The only thing he had against Lil Wayne is that when he went to go shake his hand, Lil Wayne denied him twice. But for Young Thug, that's enough to set off a beef. April 26, 2015. Lil Wayne comes to Atlanta to perform, and YSL is all over it. YSL's Jimmy Myrick, also known as Pee Wee, has bad intentions for Lil Wayne to say the least. So he
just because the nigga ain't want to shake his hand, that's why I be trying to tell motherfuckers. You never know who could become your op. A nigga could become your op any day, at any second, at any time. You see, he got an op just for not shaking a nigga hand. That's how fast you gain an op.
follows Lil Wayne's tour bus all the way from the airport to Cobb County, and that's when he found the perfect opportunity. Bang! Lil Wayne was okay, but this incident shook everyone in the rap community. Just days later, Pee Wee went down for it and got sentenced to 8 years.
That shit crazy, bro. That's why I'll never be like no street nigga. And if I did, I had to start some shit. And I had to be the leader because I'm not finna go kill somebody because you got a problem with a nigga. He literally went to jail because Lil Wayne ain't want to shake his hand. And Young Thug got mad at it. So you literally crashed out over something like that for him. Yeah, that shit's slow as hell. I ain't gonna cap to you.
Danny Aurora believes his client, Jimmy Winfrey, could have beaten most of the 27 charges in the indictment, but the prosecutorial mood against gangs and gang members in Cobb County is tough.
During the case, his ties to YSL and Young Thug were revealed, and he was officially classified as a YSL member. Well, just 2 days later, YSL's Demetrius Garlington would go on a GTA rampage. April 28, 2015, 4 a.m. Demetrius drives to Adele Avenue to the home of a rival. Bang! A 59-year-old grandmother, Denise Bell, woke up with injuries.
Damn, bro, they ass ain't gonna cap to you. They ass been missing a lot. They ass need to stop, folks. They ass need to hang up their jerseys for sure. I mean, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But it's a bad thing, too. People that can't shoot don't need a gun.
Demetrius leaves and heads to another address. He pulls up to the Crystal Cascade Apartments. Bang! A 25-year-old woman named Carlisa Kirkpatrick woke up with injuries. Well, you'd think that YSL would have shame and guilt, but nope. 4 days later, he posted to Instagram bragging about it, and the recklessness would continue for YSL. July 7th, 2015. Young Thug heads to the Perimeter Mall in Dunwoody, Georgia. This is a usually quiet and peaceful mall, the opposite of Lenox. Wait, if you guys think that Lenox is bad, go to the mall in Panthersville. It's called the Gallery at South DeKalb. Anyways, Young Thug was asked to leave the mall and then he refused and threatened the security officer. However, all charges were later dropped, so Young Thug kept moving around Atlanta doing whatever he wants. Well, over the next couple of years, Young Thug began having one of his friends rap, Sergio Kitchens. Now, Sergio doesn't have a street history, and he grew up in a suburb called Fairburn, Georgia. He also lived in Sandy Springs as well. Both of these are...
Sandy, I know about Sandy Springs. That's that rich shit. That's where All I Want for Chris, I think that's Mariah Carey. I think Mariah Carey lived out there.
Very, very safe suburbs. However, he and Young Thug would get in trouble on September 24th, 2017. Both were pulled over and searched, and in the car they found stolen weapons dating back to 2013. Man, what is with YSL and stealing blicks? Can't they just go down to Chinatown, or does Atlanta not? No, they probably don't have that. Well, Sergio, whose rap name is Gunna, ended up wiggling his way out of these charges. Later that year, they were pulled over again, and of course, they found more stolen weapons in the car. However, in Fulton,
Young Thug, not Young Thug, Gunna ass is a fucking goofy. I ain't gonna lie to you. After the first altercation, you know that you're not a real nigga, bro, and you was gonna tell, bro. You shouldn't have even been a part of this shit once you seen, okay, these niggas really gonna get me in trouble.
County, you always seem to just get released. And that takes us to February 23rd, 2019. This is the most important date in the entire story. So let me introduce you to YSL's two youngest members. 17-year-old Damone Blaylock, also known as Bali, and 15-year-old Rodalius Ryan, also known as Lil Rock.
They got a little young nigga sliding. You see, they be sending these little young niggas off. They don't be having a chance at life.
These guys were vetted since their early years to handle business for the YSL empire, and they are as heartless as it gets. And on the night of February 23rd, they were sent on a mission. The plan is to find 15-year-old Jakari Holmes, while Bali and Lil Rod drive around his neighborhood of Southeast Atlanta. Then they spot him in his blue Dodge Challenger. Bang.
Damn. I ain't gonna cap, bro. You got ops in your side, blue Dodge Challenger, bro. That was the wrong vehicle to be in. You need to have one that blend in with the public, black, gray, white. You feel me? That's the basic shit, bro. The blue shit, bro. Ain't too many niggas gonna have blue. Even though it is a lot of people that have blue, but not compared to black and white and gray.
Okay, first of all, where are these kids' parents? Second of all, how is he 15 driving a Dodge Charger? And lastly, why is Young Thug having kids handle his business? What is going on in Atlanta? Anyways,
but these niggas don't give a fuck about these little young niggas, bro. Tell you that right now, bro. They don't care. They don't care. They're gonna send them off, have them throw away their life so they won't go to jail.
at first, the police had no clues. That would change 2 days later when they went to Instagram dissing YFN in their captions. And that's when they found everything they needed. Both were sent to Atlanta's juvenile hall, while the beef kept heating up after all the social media disses from YSL. And it only got worse when Diamante Kendrick, also known as Yak Gotti, stood on top of YFN Lucci's car and posted it on Instagram. And check out YFN Lucci's response. And Atlanta police was having a field day. They just kept scrolling through the profiles and screenshotting everything they can. So let's fast forward. YFN Lucci ends up...
That's why you shouldn't repost this shit, because they will get on your ass and then your ass gonna be grass.
going down. But that doesn't mean that YSL is done with him. So that's when Young Thug orders a major hit. He contacts the infamous Demikion Garlington. And for those who don't remember, this is the guy who loves destroying plywood on grandmothers' homes. February 9th, 2022. Demikion pokes up YFN Lucci multiple times on the yard. Well, for the time being, YFN Lucci stayed solid and Demikion was later released. But this is really bad news because Demikion on the streets is a recipe for disaster. And he didn't waste any time. March 14th, 2022. A 23-year-old YFN member, Shimel Drinks, is sitting in his car under the I-20 overpass.
Come on, man. Oh.
Somehow the infamous Demikion...
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't be sitting in the car, but it's like, you inside an overpass, you was probably traffic or whatever. You got to be on your P's and Q's, have your pipe.
Demikion gets his location and pulls up.
Damn.
And this was the final straw for Atlanta police. Although the official indictment only shows about 6 to 7 bodies, the prosecution says that they can prove 50 more. Yes, you heard that correctly. 50 bodies.
They probably saying that shit, bro. They probably can't prove that shit. You know, they say the shit so they can motherfucking figure out. Like, they probably don't know. They probably think it's 50, got a little bit of evidence and shit, but they want these niggas to snitch on themselves. Because if they actually got 50 bodies, they damn near thinking like, damn, how the fuck they know? And they might snitch, but they don't know for sure, though.
All administered by a 140-pound dude who wears skirts and paints his nails. So boom, let's talk about this. The internet...
You can never judge a book by its cover. I would have thought Young Thug was not doing none of this shit.
Internet says the Young Thug is worth $8 million. Well, I probably think it's much higher than that. But either way, what is wrong with people? Please help me understand. Why does he have to do all this? And same goes for Lucci. Why can't they just get money and be happy? And unfortunately, more bad news would come on the night of May 13th, 2022. YSL rapper Lil Keed was found in his apartment and later was pronounced dead.
Man, that shit was fucked up. Rest in peace to Lil Keed. Rest in peace to everyone who passed away in this video, man. Shout out Swamp Stories. And I see why Young Thug got that motherfucking Rico if his ass doing all that shit. His ass wilding in this bitch.